Glad to have you back on the program, man, on the podcast.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's been a couple minutes since our last one.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't say a couple of days, so I'm wearing the same clothes.
No, me too. I don't know if we'll end up just splicing that together. Whoa. Or if we will make them into two, but we'll see how long. I don't even know how long the last one was.
Okay.
Okay, let's get back into it. I can't remember where we left off, but I do want to segue into something else.
Okay.
Something current and fresh with David.
Yes.
So recently, David has started to bulk up. This guy has started to get in the gym and pump iron like nobody's business. I want to hear about this. Tell me what happened, how you got started doing this, and what's going on in your life right now.
Well, first of all, I wish that I was truly bulking up. I wish I was getting stronger and you could see all the muscles, but all the muscles that I have been building, I guess, are still covered by a very thick layer of fat. So, I mean,
hey, it's noticeable. The muscles are noticeable.
I felt a craving, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Guys, I think, know what I'm talking about more than the women do, but felt this craving to lift weights. I wanted to, especially bench. All the guys, we like to bench, and we just want to push some weight around, get stronger. I did anyway, but I'd wanted to for a while and never really did anything. But there's a good friend and neighbor, Casey Jones, like the Ninja Turtle guy. That's his name, and great man, very strong guy, very fit. Anyway, I didn't even know he had a gym or he was a trainer at all. I mean, on the side, he works another job full time, and then he does this on the side. And my wife and his wife talked, and Julie, my wife, came and told me about it. She's got issues with rheumatoid arthritis and a number of other things, and it was recommended to her that she do a little weightlifting. And so it just so happened that a week or two later, it was Fathers and Sons outing, and we were all up there together, and I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, I do this, and it's about building strength, starting strength. And okay, tell me about it. And he said, well, we focus on some primary lifts. You know, a lot of people don't like these lifts, but there are reasons why you do them: squats and deadlifts and bench and shoulder press. And he explained it to me, and I said, listen, man, I've got issues. This is my issues. I was invited to go to the gym a month or so before with a buddy, and when I got to the gym, all I wanted to do was outlift him. And then, of course, you want to outlift him with what I call the guy lifts, the pretty lifts that every guy likes to do. We like to bench, and we like to play with our calves, muscles, and we like to do bicep curls and stuff like that. And so, of course, I focused on those. But I did some leg presses too, put a lot of weight on there and stuff. Anyway, I did a lot, and I know I did more than I should have. And so that next day, especially, it was exhausting. Probably for the next few days, I was so sore. I was so beat up, and I told him that I don't want to do that. Because listen, you're competing against you, and you're not even competing against you. What you're doing is we're starting you, and we're going to start you low. In fact, it's going to be painfully low. But I want you, he says, to have the proper form so that you don't get hurt when you do get big. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start you 3 days a week, and we're going to add 5 pounds to your, what we call the heavy sets, or the weight, or let's call them heavy sets. Every time that you do it, you're going to add 5 pounds. And so, like, for example, on, what did I start on deadlift? I don't know, probably started just barely over 100, maybe 135 is my max that day, 3 sets of 5. But it built up. I have since, now just a one time, this is several months ago, I've been up to 305 on my squat. Just the other a week and a half ago, I did 3 sets of 5 at 290. I'm not nearly as strong as a lot of people are, but for me, that was awesome. My bench is twice as much as what it was in high school. Um, my deadlift, my squat, my shoulder press, those are a lot more than I can ever do before. But you started small, and then you built up, and then you get to a point where your body kind of, it's hard for it to do it. And so he changed it from doing 3 sets of 5 to 5 sets of 3. So now we're kind of tricking it, but we're doing the same amount of volume or weight or whatever, right? And then right now, I mean, he's changed it up again because it gets monotonous. I'm now lifting 5 days a week. I own my own squat rack and my own weights at my own house, and he puts in a computer program. He schedules whatever I need to lift. So I don't have to worry about trying to figure out what I'm doing every day, because that was one of the other issues that I was having, because I'll just gravitate to the lifts that I like, and then everything else. But but that was funny, because I was going to bring this up before when we were talking about hard things. It is hard. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to get out, especially when nobody's there. You know, we have safety precautions and stuff set up on my rack and stuff, but it's hard when there's nobody else to motivate you, and you have to do something that is heavier than you've ever done. You just don't want to get out. You just don't want to go. I mean, we've all experienced those things, but I do, and those are some of the greatest victories. Just getting out and doing it. The other cool thing that I'm learning about life through weightlifting is that failure's good. It's okay, and it's actually really good for you, because you're still struggling through something and you're becoming stronger on the other end. And so there's a lot of good lessons in weightlifting for life, I guess, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so it's hard to do. It's hard to do, and you know, I'm my weight really hasn't changed a lot. But I can feel some of the skin that I would grab before. There's less fat in that skin, but yet I'm just as heavy as I ever was. So I know the muscles are doing good. I can feel the definition under those layers of fat, right?
Show us, Dave. Lift up your shirt real quick, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can make my pecs bounce really good right now.
Wow.
Everybody can. Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome, man. That is a tough thing, and it's actually inspirational. I mean, I have a bad back and bad knees, right? Mm-hmm. So the thought of working out just kills me right now. But the fact that, how old are you?
46 or something like that. I don't know. What year are we in?
Something like that. You're like, yeah 46.
Probably 46. I was 47 right? This year. Yeah.
And that you're benching more than you did in high school.
Oh, yeah.
You're working out more now than you did, you know, a lot younger years of your life, right? And you're able to do it still. That's inspirational, because I there's times I feel like, man, I can hardly walk, you know. I'm like, it's kind of depressing and going, I'm on the back end of everything. I'm coming down. But I had another friend who, when he turned 40, he was like in the best shape of his life. A guy I played football with that was not in great shape back then. And all of a sudden he's posting pictures of himself with his shirt off. And I'm like, holy cow. And he's like, 40s are the best decade for me. I'm like, dang. So it's inspirational knowing that, hey, there's still hope, right? If you put in the work, if you're able to go, whatever you're able to do, I mean, you can still improve your body. You can still improve physically.
But really, again, it ties into everything. First of all, in like your situation, because there's other people, you can't start doing, you know, 1 million pounds right now. You've got to start small, and we don't want to do that. In fact, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, because my oldest right now has been looking at homes to buy. And I remember I get taken back to when I was looking at my first home to buy. And immediately my mind went not to what I could afford, but went to what my parents had and what these other people had. And so we've got to understand that there is a a growth process most of the time. Kind of like the baby, he's got to sit up first, and then he's got to learn how to stand up and stay still before he can start walking, right? Same thing with weightlifting, same thing with life, really. You've got to go through some things usually in order to get it where you want on the other end. It's goal setting, right? And so like in your case, don't be thinking that you can lift as much as your son. Although with that said, Ryan has always been the strongest guy I've known. But start slow. Maybe you start walking. I don't know.
Yeah.
But and here's the other thing, and it hurts. It hurts. It hurts, and you got to work through that pain, because pain is going to be there along the way. But you work through that. And in fact, one of the guys on one of the podcasts that I listened to, he uses the term motion is lotion. Now he's using that for weightlifting, right? Motion is lotion. You'll overcome that soreness and stuff and fatigue, from the day before as you're using those muscles again. And it's true, but motion is lotion in life too. You got to get out, you got to get up, and you got to get moving. Everything is the same way. So motion is lotion. All right. Sorry.
So no, this is great, man. This is really good, because I tell my kids, I relate a lot of things with sports to them, and a lot of the lessons I learned and how to work come back from my early days, especially in sports, through my football years and things where I had to do a ton of stuff that, like I tell my kids, I didn't want to go to practice every day. I didn't want to go work out like I worked out back then. It's not like that was always fun, because kids today think that things have to be fun for them to validate their time. And it's not like that. I mean, like you said, you got to put in the work to then achieve. Like if your son's handed that house, like the mansion, the first day for his first house, he doesn't have, there's not a ton of value to that. I mean, potentially. As opposed to working your butt off and earning something, it's worth a lot more to you. So when you got to work for things, it gives it that inherent value, if that makes sense.
Can you tell my wife just walked in the room?
No, she walked in, you got all like.
I smiled when she walked in. She's really, really pretty. I crush on her.
Hey, secret. It's a secret, and it's safe here in this podcast. Man. So there's no doubt she will not be listening to this, because she doesn't want to hear.
No, I know she's going to be she's going to be so embarrassed. She's going to have to change her YouTube or whatever name, right? To make the comments.
Right. Yeah. She's going to come in like Tom Brady's wife on the radio station, when she anonymous, and that's funny, man. No, that's awesome. So working out. So here's the other thing I try to tell my kids too, is right now, the reason I like them doing sports or doing things at school and in these situations is because you have a coach, because you won't do it on your own. There's no way. Like I remember working out with Sione in the summers and with friends in the summers when we were kids, like, hey, we're going to go down to the gym and work out. Well, if we went to the gym to work out, we were looking in the mirror, doing the curls. We were not pushing ourselves, right? And when you're working out by yourself, it's hard to push yourself in comparison to how a coach is going to push you, right?
Right.
So some people are good at it and they can self-motivate, but it's a hard thing to do. So,
we tend to gravitate to the easy, I think.
Oh,
and so weightlifting for sure. I mean, going to practice, same thing. If we can get out of it somehow, we'll do it.
Yeah. So it's hard to be, I mean, there are some people that are, I don't know how they do it, right? It's just, I think it's like you said, just starting, just do, right? Just go. Because the moment you stop, the moment you go, I can't do this. Moment, you know what? It's not convenient. I'll do it tomorrow. It never happens. Tomorrow never comes.
Right.
And that's not just with working out. That's with anything you want to accomplish. That's with starting a YouTube channel, starting a podcast. When I first started with any of these things, if I stop and I think and go, oh, this is not good, and you get in your head, you'll never post it. Like the first
Mm-hmm.
YouTube video, I just have to like blindly just put it out there and press send. Same with the podcast. I have to just go, well, I know it doesn't sound good. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to go ahead and push send and upload. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
it'll never happen. You'll get in your head and you won't start.
You're right.
And that's what
You're
starting
right.
a business. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go continue your thought. That was great.
I just say, yeah, starting a business is the same way. Doing anything like that, like learning the piano, learning the guitar, things you want to do, you get in your head and you come up with an excuse and you never start.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to take the jump, like you were saying, take a step and go.
You got to constantly remind yourself of that too. I mean, because like I said, I've been lifting now. I mean, heavy, in my opinion, heavy for a year now, and I do not have the physique that I want to have. I just don't. I'm still, like I said, I'm surrounded by a layer of fat still, or 6 or 7 of them, and I'm not there. But it takes time. You got to have patience in this. You got to have this is where you let go and you trust. You get back to that. You let go and you trust, and you just keep moving forward, because it's not gonna. Can you hear my family in the background?
Yeah. Welcome.
Hang on for a second.
Mom!
Hey, everybody's on this podcast. Julie? Did you hear that?
Mom, meatloaf!
Mom, meatloaf. Oh, that's funny.
This is the joys of doing stuff at home with family, right? We both have it's quiet here because my kids all went on to the school to do a drive-by to their teachers last day of school thing. Yeah. So, nice. I mean, not all of them. There are a few that are still home, but yeah, that's the joys of having a family.
Right.
But anyway, what we were talking about, did you finish your thought on that?
I'm sure. I don't know. Probably talked too much about it.
No, I think it's valuable because it's relatable to everything, everybody, and no matter what we're doing. If it's at work and we're trying to get a promotion, or we want to, just put yourself out there sometimes is really hard. Mm-hmm. And you right now coming on here on this podcast and talking about your workout is a tough thing to do too, because now you just put yourself out there for all of us to go, Dave's working out, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's putting yourself out there.
The harder part was putting myself out there to let everybody realize once again how much of a moron Dave is. That's
welcome to my life, man.
Yeah, right.
If you're doing anything social media wise, I have my window cleaning company and I got to put ads out for that. Then I have the Olsenbro thing. I'm helping Rachel with her thing. It's constantly putting yourself out there and going, why would anyone care what I have to say, right? Why would anyone care what I have to offer? Or you look at the other way and just go, you know what? Just be you and be confident in you. And people that like you and gravitate to you will do that, right?
Right.
But it kind of, I can see like you coming on. Yeah, I think it's awesome you coming on here, first of all, because you're my brother. And, oh, go ahead.
You know what's cool about this stuff and your platform of doing all this stuff, and I listen to a few of them, and if you can make one person feel better about themselves and who they are, or go out and do something to improve themselves, and then it's worth it. And so what you do is fantastic, man. Your stories have good lessons in them, especially your football ones, although it was Mountain View. No offense, Mountain View people. I'm a jackrabbit.
Yeah, Toros.
But good for you.
No, I appreciate that. It's surprising too, Dave. What is surprising is we get caught up in the likes on our posts, or the views and the things that you see. So you may put a post on social media and one person comments or whatever. So you just assume, no one's even giving it the time of day or what, no one, and you can get into that mindset like, whatever. What surprises me and catches me off guard sometimes is running into an old friend or an old acquaintance and then bringing up something that they saw, or like as if they're totally engaged in what I'm doing. And I had no idea that they had even seen or heard or knew that I was doing this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Those are the ones that go, oh, wow, you saw that? You knew that? I didn't know that you knew that. I didn't see you comment on my post or on my video but people have seen it. And so that makes me go, oh man, there are people out there that I'm reaching in whatever way. If it's, I mean, most of the stuff's dumb stuff and it's reviews or whatever it is. But yeah, no, I hope people get from me that it's okay to put yourself out there and just be yourself. And you know, it's a tough thing because I'm doing this Olsenbro thing started with that YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And it was products, like I said, and trying to get free stuff and doing reviews and, oh, maybe make a little money on YouTube and now on Amazon. And so there was a balance. Okay, now I'm doing a podcast. Do I have to do products now? Is it everything have to be about that? Because that's not who I am. Who I am, I love people. I love cool things too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But can I just be whatever? Do I have to like box myself and go, I'm only going to do this now? And now everything has to be on point with this. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to be that. I just want to be whatever I want to be. So if I want to have a podcast with my brother David talking about life or missions, we can do that. Now, it may not appeal to everybody because it's not always the same. But I like to have the freedom to do whatever the heck I want to do, right? Mm-hmm. And just be me. And so hopefully that appeals to some people. And people might go, yeah, you know, I like that for whatever reason. A lot of people may not, you know.
Yeah, you just need to remember, though, and I'm sure you do, but other people, we need to remember that we are not the number of likes that we get, and we are not the comments that we receive. So
no,
if you can do that, then that's good. Otherwise, it's going to mess with you.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I really enjoy getting to talk with you on here. This, to me, is why I want to do a podcast, not just me talking about myself. But talking with you, this is real to me, even though we're not in the same room right now. Mm-hmm. We get to share and bounce ideas and thoughts and feelings off each other, which is really cool. There was a question on here from Rachel for you from going back to the Facebook questions. Mm-hmm. She asked, and this is relevant to right now, how she mentioned how coronavirus might be affecting your business, but how has this coronavirus pandemic been affecting you personally and your family as a whole?
It's really interesting because it's kind of, we've gone up and down. Okay. Right now we're hating it. We want to be out. Right. But it started with, my immediate thought, and I know that some of my children felt the same way, is we could care less about us getting coronavirus. Cause I think that most of us in my household would get over it. We'd get sick and we get through it. I believe that. However, we do have Julie, my wife. I mean, she's got all sorts of lung issues. I mean, she's one of the ones that you have to worry about according to what the news and everything is saying. And so we immediately got nervous and we wanted to just keep her in and stuff. And then as time went on, and I don't know, I'm confused at the whole thing. Without wanting to necessarily offend anybody on either particular thing, it feels like some of the numbers that they're making, maybe not the actual numbers of people that have contracted the disease, but those who are dying from it, is a little bit dishonest because of how they are doing it. They may have died for one reason, but yet because they also have the coronavirus, that is considered a coronavirus death. So it's a little bit disingenuous to call that. Well, but so now, so we've gone from being nervous to being okay to being upset. At this point, I'm just ready for it to be done, and I hope that it's done. I certainly don't want anybody to contract it, but I don't want anybody to contract the flu, and I don't want anybody to get lung diseases. I don't want to get anybody. I don't like it when people get sick or get hurt because it breaks my heart for them.
Sure. Okay. So look, we won't even get into that. So we can debate on the politics of this whole thing, right? And on the media right, and all the stuff going on with that. But again, that stuff is, I mean, that's just a rabbit hole, right? Or what do they call it, man? Where you take off and then becomes like, you can have a debate with anybody on social media about it. And it's what they read and what I read. But this is what I would like to ask you. What have you noticed personally? Like, how have you personally been affected by this and your family? I can tell you
Well,
my thoughts on it. I want to hear
yeah.
yours.
So my initial thoughts on it, I mean, we live in Arizona, and Arizona in the wintertime and in part of the spring is beautiful outside. Weather's fantastic. Now it's taking that turn and we're getting hot, and so, but when it was beautiful outside, I noticed, and I really liked it, all of the families doing stuff together, because now you're stuck with your family and you're not going out and hanging out with your friends. You're with your, and I don't mean that bad, stuck with your family, that sounds bad, but you're with your family. I really like seeing families go for bike rides and for walks and hanging out with each other more than I'd ever seen it in my neighborhood. Like I say, I'm out my garage every day. I lift up the thing, and I live in a place where there's a retention basin right in front. It's a big green area, and there were a lot of people there, and I just found that so neat. We're getting back to what we should be back to. You know, the basics. I loved that part of it. Loved it. Then there's the other side of it that frustrates me, is then it gets hot. And so now everybody goes inside and everybody is on a device. And I hate that part of it. I hate it. Not just because I can't do my work sometimes because it's so slow or whatever that I have to get on my phone and do that. But it went from being so perfect to now everybody is back doing their own little thing, being alone, if that makes any sense, and being oblivious to everything else. Now, I will say that my family has done some fun things. I mean, we've done stuff like we play a lot of games. So we've done a lot more gaming, and that, meaning not video games, but like card games and board games and stuff like that. And that was kind of fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
So
yeah.
yeah, no, you know what? Those are some great insights, Dave, because I have some of the same feelings. You know, originally, so when people ask me, or when I see posts about, 2020 is a dumpster fire, 2020 is a horrible worst year ever. Let's start over. Let's fast forward to 2021. I just think, man, I'm one of the lucky few, I suppose. And I get that. And you know what, that government bailout, that money they sent, I got 6 kids, so that really helped me too with my slowing business. I got to be upfront about that, right? If I didn't have that, I'd be way tighter and it would affect me that way. I mean, and it still could, right? It still could affect me big time financially with having my own business and whatnot. But man, when I think about this year, it's been a huge blessing to me. It's been a blast hanging out with my kids. It's been super fun that they're not at school. They're at home with me all day long. Now it's a ton of work for my wife, and I get to sometimes be secluded a little bit, right? Working, and I get a break sometimes that she doesn't potentially get, right? Having the kids home all day long. And now it's getting to what you talked about, where you're on devices all day long, and now you're like, crap, it's so hot outside. What are we going to do? What do you do? And that's the summer in general, right? You go swimming, but typically we can go to the mall, and now it's starting to open up again, but we could go out to these stores with air conditioning where, we're still at that point. Do we take our kids everywhere? I got 6 down to 4 years old. Do I take them all out to the store and expose them to everything potentially? So it's still kind of a tough decision to make every day. And we won't do nearly as much as we did do, right? In years past and summers past. But man, up to this point, it's been a blast just hanging out and having all that time with our family. And on top of that, having church at home. It's been some special things that have happened because of this.
I will say that on the church side, I've really enjoyed having at-home church. However, I do miss my friends. I do. I miss that part of it. But yeah, I really like it. It's and I don't want to call it more spiritual, but it's a different. It feels so good. What else? I've also been blessed. My job is considered essential. However, I'm a sales guy, and so although I'm considered essential, I'm not essential at this moment, so it's hard for me to get into certain places. But I've had the blessing, the opportunity to get out just about every day and go and visit a company or 2 or 3, right? And have some work. So, that has been good for my psyche. to be like my wife or your wife is constantly at home and feels like it almost becomes claustrophobic, especially now because of the
Yeah.
heat.
Right.
It becomes claustrophobic, and so at least I get to get out. I've been blessed with that, but yeah, I guess my favorite thing that's come out of it is the fact that families are drawing closer together.
Yeah.
So I do like that.
100% agreed. And you know what? I know our perception of things. I mean, no matter what situation we're put in, we can look at things optimistically or pessimistically, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
and I, or my kids and I can have the same exact experience or live through the same conditions, and my experience can be totally different than theirs, right? My perception of what happened. I tell my kids that all the time. Because we talk about fun and doing fun things, and I say fun is what you make it. You decide if something's fun or not.
Yeah,
You
sure.
decide if you're happy or not. Going to Disneyland, you could be miserable, right? Sitting in the backyard with friends, you could have a blast, and it can be the funnest time of your life. So it doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, the things that are surrounding us, I mean, it's what we decide and what we want it to be, right? We get to choose that. Happiness is a choice. No one makes you happy or sad. Now, they can help contribute to it because of what you're going to choose based on what they've done or what's happened to you, but you still get to choose it. And so when I look back on the year, I can try to think of all the negative things, and then guess what my perception of the year is going to be?
Right.
That it was horrible, right? Or I can choose to reflect on all the good stuff, and now that's all that fills my mind. That's all I see now. Like, I don't see the negative stuff in my life because I choose not to. I choose to move past them and focus on the good. And I think that's actually a gift that I've been personally given, because my wife struggles with depression and anxiety. And it's hard, because once you start going down that road of depression, anxiety, that's all you see. And everything starts to be like dark, and everything's that way in your life, and you can't see the other stuff.
It's hard to get out of it. Yep.
And so I admit that it's been easy for me in my life, knock on wood, up to this point, to be able to be positive. And I think that's really been easier for me than for others, because I know if I reflect on all the negative things in my life, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff to be negative about, but I choose not to see that stuff. I know it's real. The struggles are real. Difficulties are real. I mean, I've struggled with my back. I've had a lot of problems. But man, if you ask about my life story, it's not that stuff. It's not the down stuff, although that can contribute to the successes like we talked about. So if it's part of the narrative of my successes, then it's there. But bad cards being dealt my way, man, I just see the blessings in my life. I don't necessarily see the negative stuff in my life. I'm just so keen to see those blessings, because I know that I have so much. I know that the Lord's given me so much. I feel disrespectful to contemplate and to think about the negative things in my life. Does that make sense? I think that's kind of how I view it.
It's wise. I know that sometimes it's hard not to think and dwell, especially if you're in it. But you're right. Again, getting back to the whole thing, the best thing that you can do is to let go, trust the Lord, and start walking, start moving forward. In fact, it was Kyle that pointed this out to me, and as I study the topic of faith, for example, I see this more and more. The best way to get out of anxiety, especially depression, to me is more chemical, and it's more. It is absolutely very real. I've suffered maybe a tiny bit of depression, but I've suffered a lot more anxiety than depression, and they're two completely different things. Usually, the anxiety, and I mean no disrespect to anybody, but anxiety, I have learned, is more of me worrying about me. It's almost selfish. So I'm thinking, oh no, what am I going to do now? What do I have to do now that I've lost my job? Or what do I have to do now that this happened? And it's me, right? And so the best way to overcome that is to have faith. And faith is an assurance of things that haven't happened, that are, that are real. And so you let go and you trust that that's going to happen. And then you go out and you do something. And what you do, here's the secret. Here's the secret. The secret is to go out and serve somebody. Do something for somebody else. Get out of your own way and go and do that. And you do a good job of that. I mean, do it with your family. I need to do a much better job of doing that with my own family than I do with others, I think. But when you do that, then all of these other things go away. Now, I will say this, I will qualify that with depression. Depression, medication will really, really help with that. And I believe that. I mean, people might not believe in medicating for whatever, but for depression, I think it's an absolute real thing that is a very dangerous thing. But a lot of times we confuse anxiety with depression. And anxiety is, in my opinion, is us thinking about us.
Well,
make sense?
Yeah, the saying, that's a whole topic for a podcast itself. Anxiety to me also can require medication. Anxiety,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
the same thing you say for anxiety is also could be said for depression, right? And in fact, when we first got married, Rachel and I, when she first started having these I won't call them episodes, these feelings of depression, anxiety, it seemed like it happened after our first daughter, by the way, is when it really started manifesting itself in her. And I always was like, well, you're being selfish. Quit thinking about yourself. Go serve, right? That was my mindset to combat depression, anxiety, whatever it is. Well, quit thinking about you. Just go think about somebody else. It's simple. Boom. And for me, that's how it's been, right? And so I couldn't understand trying to explain to my wife, my sweetheart, well, yeah, you just quit thinking about yourself, right? You're just being, basically, right? That's how I want to solve it. Boom, that's it. Go do that. Well, there's different levels of depression and anxiety. To some of us, it's that easy. Oh, yeah, just forget about yourself and go serve. And it really works, and it's really that easy. Other people actually have medical conditions that require them to have medicine and change their hormones and their chemicals, and they rely on that. It doesn't work the same. It's not easy. It's not as easy as going, yeah, all I have to do is this. It doesn't work the same, and I still don't fully understand it after years of trying to deal with it and help my sweetheart with that. But I do recognize the different levels of it. So some people, it is easy. We just need to get off our butts and go serve, right, and get out. But there's a lot of people that's not the case. They can't do it. It's not that easy.
And I understand, and that's why I qualify I want to make that distinction between, again, anxiety and depression. Depression, that certainly will not work for. Having been one, I'm going to put myself out there, having been one that has been on medication for anxiety, so I know that can help. It can help. Doesn't alleviate any problems. It just gives you more confidence or whatever to deal with them. But as I think back on the anxiety side, again, and I know that, well, I better just say there, my intent is not to offend anybody that is suffering from this, because they're very real.
It's a really tough thing to talk about and to figure out, because it's interesting because I've been in church meetings and things, and there are people that come in way on the other side of this, right? Where like I was younger, when I was younger, the side of, hey, it's all in your head. Obviously it's in your head, right? But it's you just, I don't know why this is an issue. Just go out and serve people. I've never had to do, all I do is go and serve and it's like, it's okay. Come to me when you have a daughter who has, a real illness with depression. It's going to change the way you're talking right now. It'll rock your world. It'll change your life when you experience it, or you have somebody you love experiencing it. It's not the same as what I've been through. It's not the same as my experience. You know what I mean?
Sure. All I'm saying, because I have, and I think I've had really close. How do I say this? Yes, we know about the depression factor. I mean, absolutely, unequivocally know about it, and that to me is all chemical, and it's hard. I mean, and it's and I don't quite understand it because I mean, maybe once or twice in my life have I ever really gotten down like that, but I've been able to snap back out. And that's not what I had. What I had was anxiety, which is more of a, at least for me, it was more of a nervousness about the future, or about what was going to happen, than where I was at right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think the way you're differentiating it doesn't seem quite. I think they both, depression and anxiety, both have the same levels of. There's the clinical depression or clinical anxiety, and then there's the one where it's doesn't require medication and can be handled. So I think they both have spectrums. Instead of saying depression is the one where you need medication, anxiety is one where you don't. I think they both are totally different things that both have those levels. Does that make sense?
No. Don't. Let me.
Because I know there's people that have anxiety.
No. Yeah. No. And being one again that was medicated for anxiety, I understand that, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that one requires medication, one doesn't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying one is a lot more affected by our thoughts than the other. One is more affected by chemicals in our brain and in our body than the other.
Yeah, I don't know. Saying. I don't know, man. That's interesting. That's an interesting perspective of it.
Again, this is my perspective. I don't know. I've never studied it. I know that I've had very close. I've had some pretty horrible things happen with people that are very close to me because of depression, and it is a very real thing. And that's something else. It's interesting because you talk about. When I was younger, I didn't really understand that. So, I understand that too. I mean, you've got everything going for you, everything. How are you suffering from depression? Well, you are. It is, and it is something that I really think that people need to. And again, maybe this gets back to the family thing, because now we're back together, and those are the best places to talk, in my opinion, is to express yourself, to do more communicating. When I worked at that Franklin Covey back in the day, and although the numbers might be inaccurate from what he was saying, they're very close. And in one of his speeches, Hiram Smith, on the Franklin side of Franklin Covey, he would refer to a study, and he said the average father and child spend like 18 minutes a week in one-on-one conversation, and it blew my mind. That's it? Wow. Just 18 minutes an entire week. And that's one of the reasons. I mean, that's why I'm glad some of this coronavirus stuff. Did you hear that big old cough down there? Got a kid sneezing or coughing, man.
Wow, those are some big manly coughs, man.
That is good. I don't know if this is gonna work. Hang on for a sec, Ryan. I'm gonna switch over, if it's okay, to these other headphones, and I'm not sure if it'll work or not.
It sounds like sirens. You have sirens going off by your house?
Sirens? I don't know. That's one of the other issues with old age, man. I can't hear a thing, man. I'm so old. I have to wear these stupid reader glasses to look at the computer now.
Yeah.
It's just, I'll tell you, Ryan, if there's, to segue from depression and anxiety to something just as serious, just joking, it's not nearly as serious, but there's nothing more frustrating to me than not being able to see. Especially at night, my eyes are getting weak or something like that. I look at my phone and it frustrates me because I can't read it. It makes me so upset. I have to wear these stupid things. And same with hearing. I'll get made fun of a lot by my kids. I just talked to you and said something. Sorry, man, I didn't hear. I said, no, I don't hear any sirens. I don't know if that's because there are no sirens or if it's because I'm old and deaf. It could be that it's your hearing and that you're just hearing sirens.
That's true. I hear all sorts of weird things in my head, right? Yeah. I think it's called selective hearing when it comes to children, though, Dave.
Yeah.
Some things we can just block out really easy. But man, I could attest to the glasses thing. I don't know how long ago this happened to me. A couple years ago, getting headaches, my eyes squinting all the time, and I realized I didn't realize until I finally went to Walgreens or Walmart and I grabbed some of their reader glasses and I put it on. I went, whoa! I didn't know my phone looked like that. That background had droplets on it, or whatever the details were that I wasn't seeing. I'm like, holy cow! And I don't have to squint. That's what it's supposed to look like,
right?
You know? And then I finally went and got tested for real glasses.
Hey, this is
bifocals.
This is slowing down. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, because this is it's getting to be that time of day where the internet's going crazy, I think. But okay, I can see you. You're better. You're back to normal. Well, it was cool for a while there. You were like an old martial arts show, you know, where your mouth is moving and then the voice would come in a little bit later. It was pretty neat. I don't know how you did that.
Magic.
So
magic.
Anyway, yeah. So I don't like to have to wear glasses or to have to turn up things. So what was I going to tell you? Now here's the other part of old age. I can't remember what the heck I was about to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh well.
You are old. You are officially old. Well, hey man, I don't know how long this one's been going on, but what else? So let's wrap up probably and just make sure everything's going to be recorded correctly before we go on all day. And we could do another.
Yeah, that's fine. Hang on for this. I'm going to become you in a second here. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, check it out.
I feel like a big geek.
Dude, you all of a sudden, I mean, I thought I was pretty cool with these things on, but you had the microphone?
Down to adjust the size.
Hold up. Relax. You were cutting out for a minute there. Now I got you on here. You got your cool headphones on.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, I switched over to this thing now. Man, this is why I will never be a gamer, ever. I'm looking at myself in this. I can't. I don't know how you wear these things, man. I look. Yeah.
Look, so some people can rock the headphones. I thought I was doing okay, and then I look over at you, and if I look like you, I'm just kidding.
Dude. Oh my gosh. Oh wow.
What you got to do? Here's what you need to do for your look. Put a hat on backwards. Put those puppies on top. You know, then you'll look. No, you look good, Dave. Come on. Now I can't hear you though. You broke it already. See, the podcast listeners have no idea what they're missing out here when they don't get to see you.
Can you hear me through the mic now?
Now I hear you.
Man, those lucky podcasters. This should be the reason why you only stay audio and not visual. Now the internet connection is unstable and stuff. All right, sorry. Getting back to it.
Yeah, so I think we should wrap up this episode because we're getting into that time of the day where the internet's getting a little crappy over there. Okay. Final thoughts today, Dave. So today we talked about, I think in this podcast, this specific episode here, if we keep them separate, which we will, we talked a little bit about coronavirus, how that's been affecting your family. We dived into depression a tiny bit and anxiety just a little bit. And do you remember what else we spoke about today?
How horrible I look in these earmuffs things, whatever they're called.
Yeah, so go ahead and wrap it up for us today, Dave. Your final impressions of the episode. Go ahead.
My final thoughts, get back to the weightlifting. And basically in life, really, what it comes down to is letting go, have faith, let go, and go out and move and do something. Do it anyway, even though it's hard. Get out and do it anyway, because you're going to be better off having done so. And you're going to receive those victories for which, if you listen to the prior episode, I will cry about, because I do get excited when people are able to overcome those things, especially those hard things, personal hard things. So get out and make me cry.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Dave. Really appreciate you coming on again. And will you come back again? Will you do it in the future? Awesome.
Sure.
Man. Awesome. Thanks everybody for tuning in today or whenever you're listening via the podcast or on the YouTube channel. If you haven't already done so and you like this, consider subscribing, consider liking. It will really help out the channel and get more people to do the same. So I hope you guys have a great day out there. Dave, you have a great day.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later on, man. Love you.
Love you too.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.